Good morning. I had the opportunity to interview Designer Set Matt McCormick for the play 12 Angry Men. It was produced in January 2016 at the Old Town Playhouse in Traverse City, Michigan. There have been 187,854 video views on YouTube seen since the year of 2016 on the whole documentary video. And it was a masterpiece of theater, and fabulous designer Set Matt McCormick brought realism for the actors in a courtroom in the play of 12 Angry Men.
Well, now that I've talked about the actors in 12 Angry Men, I'd like to introduce one of our technical people who also happens to be an actor, a very fine actor himself, and a great professional in many areas of theater arts. Matt has come back to Traverse City after being away. He's been involved with professional playhouses out east and down south, and he and his partner moved back to Traverse City, and we're very fortunate to get him to design this show. I worked with Matt on stage and backstage. As you can see from this set, it is an absolutely faithful reproduction of a 1950s New York City jury room. And we are really fortunate that an audience can come in and if there's a slow moment in the play, which fortunately in this play there's not, they can look around and be transported. We've had several audience members come downstairs and say that they felt like they were there in 1957 in this courtroom. And we feel it too on stage, being completely comfortable and in our location, so to speak. So here's a few words from Matt McCormick.
Well, my name is Matt McCormick, and I'm the scenic designer on 12 Angry Men. I talked to the director, it's Debbie Hershey, I think about 3 months ago, maybe 4, about the play and her thoughts on it. And the two of us collaborated a few times, and I think we, as far as a working relationship, it was probably one of the most enjoyable that I think I've had. I have immense respect for Debbie as a new director and her approach to the process, even from the very first production meeting, which began exactly on time, and was an hour. So right from there, I knew that I was going to really enjoy working with her in that capacity. But as far as the design goes, of course, after reading the script several times and knowing the story, but getting re-familiar with it and understanding limitations of this space, and its limitations are many, on top of what the script requires, we went back and forth, I guess, with a couple of suggestions of how we could maybe handle this and how we could handle that. Debbie gave me a lot of creative freedom to go ahead and come to her, I guess, with kind of a solution. And the way that I like to work, I kind of think of things in a wish list. That I will go off and I will grab images from here and there that I would say, if the sky were the limit, this is what I would like to have. And so I called a number of images and I put together some pages, and then I just threw together a ground plan that we could talk about, at least in terms of what you're going to need. You got to seat 12 guys, you've got to have a water cooler, you got to have a bathroom, you got to have windows, all of the stuff that's script driven, and then that there's something else that comes from that we want to have just to make the story come to life, or I guess the way to put it is to just make us feel like we're back in 1957. Then that comes. There's a standing ashtray over there. That was an indulgence for me. I wanted it. It says to me 50s, 40s, 30s, and I don't even know if in the play it gets used or not, but it doesn't matter. It's there. Things like that. But the big ticket items. Debbie looked at it. We had a couple of things, very minor things, that we changed, and it was one of those processes that was just very, very smooth. And then from there, what I did to help her, and also to help the people here at the Playhouse when it comes to constructing it, is to build a scale model of the place. I didn't do any sketches really. I did the floor plan and then I did the model, minus the table and chairs, but enough to get the room and the feel of it, so that when I wasn't here, Kerr Anderson, Jeff Kroger could take that, share it with the crew that David assembled, and questions were pretty much answered if you looked at the model and realized, well, how big is it? Well, it's the scale, so just measure it. Working with those two, talk about a dream team, Jeff and Kerr. So easy to collaborate with, to put heads together and say, well, what if we did this? Even right down to the crown molding, which you can go so many different ways on that, and I said, let's do it simple, and Kerr came up with one thing, and then they simplified that even more, and he showed me a sample, and I said, yes. It was a dream. We were challenged with the fact that this play came on the heels of Joseph in January, and then we had the holidays in the middle of that, and so we had 2 weeks, roughly, maybe 2.5 of good solid weeks of build time with a couple of major holidays in there, and I was blessed to have help paint this, Claire Shipstead and Lori Weldon, who, again, dreams to work with. We started, oddly enough, with this play, we started with the floor first, because Jeff was gone, Kerr was gone, and the stage was bare. And so Claire and I gridded the floor, and we got the paint down here, so that when they came back to do the build on Monday, I said, doesn't matter, you can throw a drop cloth down or not. If you scuff it up, all the better. So that gave the carpenters a bit of freedom. As far as the paint, the color palette was chosen to be both period. The script calls for the room to be rather drab. It's not a place you want to spend a lot of time in. Excuse me. Not a lot of time in, because it's not terribly comfortable. So we did the walls, did the toning that you see with some stains and watermarks, and if you got really close, you'll even see there's really thick dripped paint to make it look like it's had years and years of paint over it. Scuffs here and there. This table, which Kerr built, this U-shaped table, to make it look like it has seen better days, was aged and toned and scuffed and dry brushed with some highlights and patches of varnish that were off and on. What else can I tell you? The sconces that are on the wall by the window, those came right from the warehouse, which was great. And then the one overhead that was purchased actually at a architectural salvage shop, Odom's. We then just took plywood and made a circular ceiling medallion with liquid nails piped on it, if you will, like almost like cake icing to give it some dimension. Claire painted that, dry brushed some brass over it, and voila, we got an Art Deco style light. I don't know any other real details that I can share with you set-wise, except to say that the lighting choice that Bill Fishburne, the lighting designer, in the script called for fluorescent lighting, and we decided, and I think it's driven mainly by Bill, but I concurred with him that fluorescent, we decided to go incandescent, and he cooled it, I think, with his gels a bit, but there's nothing about the story that says it must be under fluorescent light, so that was just an artistic choice, but I think it worked. Very pleased with how this all came together and the time that it came together, and I'm glad that the actors feel that they've been given a place in which they can immerse themselves in the characters and just sort of get lost in the role, and that's really what this is all about. I mean, as a designer, I get a lot of satisfaction when a design that I've done comes together and in the end looks like what I wanted it to look like. Well, of course, who's not going to be happy with that? But really, these guys in this story, telling the story, inhabiting these characters, bringing it fully fleshed to life is, well, it was a joy to watch, and it was incredibly moving. I am proud of them to the nth degree, to Debbie, to the whole production staff, to the Playhouse. I'm thrilled that they have such a hit in these winter months, and I'm really, really proud to have been a part of that. So I hope that everyone who came and saw it enjoyed it immensely, and will remember it, because I know that I certainly will. It was an honor to work on this one.